So with the bank account, I can change the main function. So I create a saving account, and I can just get the account info and make a deposit, get account info again, and withdraw. I think I'm gonna withdraw amount like a 999. Okay, and get account info. So I can compile again. So initial balance is 1,000, and after the deposit 3,000, I got 4,000, and then after withdraw $999, I got a new balance which is 3,001. Okay, but this is all text based. Every time I call the deposit, every time I call the withdraw, I have to recompile the code. That's really inconvenient. Today, what I want to do is I want to create a GUI. So when I create the GUI, the good thing about Java is you don't have to change any existing code. All you need to do is you add additional class. I'm going to add additional class called I'm gonna add an additional class called bank account GUI. Okay, I make this a class. Now, remember, when we try to create a GUI, Java GUI, when you can create a class that extends one of the class called, what's it called? JFrame, right? Okay. So you can create a called a JFrame. So then in the main class, you can actually just say bank account GUI, and then my bank account GUI, and then you can create the object called my bank account GUI, and then my bank account GUI is just it's also a frame. Okay. So once you create the bank account GUI, the bank account GUI is actually a GUI because it's a derived class. So what I do is I want to actually just create an object of a bank account GUI. And maybe I call it my bank account GUI. So that object is basically contains, that's the container. So then I want to create 3 buttons and also 3 text field. So the 3 button I call, one is the deposit button, and the one is withdraw button, and then the last button is called balance. So now here is the text field. Okay, so I can actually type like $1,000, and when I type $1,000, I click the deposit button. So hopefully the balance text field is going to show the current balance. Okay, if the current balance is 2,000, and when I actually add deposit 1,000, I click a deposit, and the new balance is going to be 3,000. Okay, that's what I hope that the code is going to work that way. And then I can withdraw like a $999, and I click withdraw, and then the new balance is going to show up. So it's a correct value. Okay. Now, how can I do this? So
Professor, I think you're muted.
Okay. How long did I mute myself? How long did I mute myself? So I hope I.
Only like
for like 2 minutes almost.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just hit the button. So let me actually repeat again. So what I'm gonna do is, so in this bank account, application, I want to create another class called the bank account GUI. So the bank account GUI gonna extend the JFrame. So in bank account GUI, I'm gonna add 3 J buttons and 3 text field, and which organized like this. That's a layout. So then I call the constructor of the bank account GUI to put these, components in the JFrame, in the container. Okay, that's what I do. Now, so first thing you need to do is, when you add, you have to make sure that you actually put the right location, right? So the location of each component will be actually measured by look at the top left corner. Okay, the top left corner of these basically measures the location of this component. So for example, this is actually the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate, and if I actually leave like a 10 pixels here, so that means the value of x is 10. The value of y from the top of the container to bottom, so that's 10 pixel. So that button gonna be in the location of 10 by 10. Okay. Now now for that location, so I need to figure out what's the x coordinate value, right? And what's the y coordinate. So y coordinate is still the same, but the x coordinate, if the length of the button is 100, okay, 100 pixels, and then I actually leave 10 in between, leave a gap between these two components, the button and the text field. So that means it's a 10 plus 100 plus 10. That's x coordinate going to be 100, 120, right? So that 120 by 10. So that's the coordinate. Okay, so I can measure all the other coordinate depend on if the height of the button is 30 pixel and the gap is between is 10, and that's 30 again, that's 10, 30 again, and the length is 100, and the text field I can put like 120. So it's a little bit longer than the button, 120. Okay, and this is 120. Okay, that's what I can do. So let's actually take a look at the code right now. So I don't want to change anything over here. Probably I'm going to change my account main, because once I create this bank account GUI, I need to call the bank account GUI instead of bank account. So I'm going to actually create this file. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to import a couple of actually GUI library. So like a Java x dot swing dot, okay, and import Java dot awt dot star. Let me actually copy and paste. So AWT, and also one of the things I'm gonna actually work on the event. So I'm gonna put the event dot, okay, Okay. CIO. These are the. Let me see. Do I miss anything? Let's see. Maybe I'm not sure, but I just added Java. LANG language. So I'm gonna create a public class. I called bank account GUI. So this is gonna actually extend the J frame. Okay. So now in here, I need to create a couple of components, right? So so in order to display all these buttons, I need to create these buttons. So this button should be actually make it private. So private J button. And then I'm gonna create button 1 new J button. So then I can actually put the text called deposit on top of it. So I want to create all 3 buttons here. Maybe I just, instead of button 1, I call the deposit button. Okay. And then the second one I called withdraw button. And then I withdraw here. The last one is called the balance. We call the balance button. Okay. So I created 3 buttons. And also, I'm going to create the 3 text field. Okay. That's a J text field. So let's see. Okay, so these J text field, J text field, J text field. So these are the 6 components. Also, don't forget the account. I need to create the account. Remember, the bank account is already created. I call it my account. Okay. I use default constructor. New. Any problem? Any question? So I created all these components for the bank account GUI. 6 components, 1 bank account, because I'm gonna actually definitely create an account and perform the operation in the account. But the result gonna be displayed on these GUI interface. So then the next one I'm gonna create is the constructor. So I don't have to create all these constructors. I just create 1 constructor, bank account. So the constructor gonna actually so I can actually use one of the constructor that with the initial and string owner, right? So I can create the constructor. Sorry. Okay. Now the first thing I want to do is for the constructor, because in this bank account GUI, I actually declare a bank account. So I need to set the account name, right? So my account, so set owner.
Professor, do you mean to
Yes.
have the J buttons and the J text fields have the same names?
Oh, sorry. Maybe I just should call the deposit field, right? Yeah, thank you. Okay. And also the field, this is not. For the J text field, I should specify how many characters I need to allow to put in the field, the length of the field. Okay. I put the 20 for now. Maybe I should change. So a set account owner, I maybe just owner, right? Owner. with the owner I provide. Okay. Now, first thing I want to do is for the bank account GUI, because bank account GUI is a JFrame. It extends the JFrame. So when I create this, at the very top of the bank account GUI, like this one here, I want to put the title here, right? So say my bank account. So I need to put the title. So let's see. So how can I set the title? There's a method in the JFrame. It's called set title. Because bank account GUI is a JFrame, so I can call any public method in JFrame, which gonna set a title. And I'm gonna set the title called my bank account. Okay, so that's the title of my bank account. And also I'm gonna set the size for the bank account. Sorry, I should type. Set a size. What's the size of this? So you can estimate the size, right? So you can actually leave 10 over here. 100 for the deposit, 120 for the text field, and another 10 in between. I want to leave a gap. So 10, 10, 120, 100. So it's 220 plus 10 plus 10. I think it's 240, right? So that's total 240. But I want to leave 10 over here and also leave a 10 over here. So so I should actually reserve enough space. Let's say 260. Okay, make it 260 for the width, and for the height. So I'm gonna leave 10 here, 30 for the deposit button and also the text field, and 10 again space between two buttons, and 30 for the height of the button, and 30 for the height button, and the 10 in between. Okay, so it's gonna be 10 plus 30, 10 plus 30, 10 plus 30. That's 120. So I just get the estimate of the size, right? So let's say for the x coordinate, I can say I put 260, and for the width, for the height, Let's say 200. I make it bigger. That's the size I want to set for the frame. Then I'm gonna define a container. Okay, I call the pane, which is by calling the method in the JFrame. It's called get content pane. Get content pane. So this can actually create a pane. So then all the components will be added into the pane, not directly added to the JFrame. The frame, okay, not directly added to the frame, the bank account GUI. So now I'm gonna add all these components. Okay, let's say I'm gonna add Posit button. So before I add, I need to set up the deposit button. Posit button. Let me see, I want to set the size. The button. Set a size. Remember, I want to make the size 100, x coordinate 100, y coordinate 30. That's a pixel, okay. And then I set the location. Posit button, I set the location. So we're gonna set the location. The top one, the location gonna be 10 and the 10. Okay. So let's see. Then I'm gonna add into the pane the container. Add this. And the next one I can do is add a deposit button and a deposit field, right? So I'm gonna comment together. So let's see. Let me copy paste all this. Now it's a deposit field, okay? And I can also set a size of the field. And the deposit field size is 120. So that's the length. And the height is also 30. It's the same. The height, which is a y coordinate, it's also 30. It's the same as the buttons, the height of the button. So to be consistent. And I put the location, set the location. The location is here, right? Location is here. So the x coordinate is going to be 10 plus 100 plus another 10. It's 120. That's x coordinate. Y coordinate is the same, right? Y is actually, the height is basically the same. So x20, y is the same. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to add in the next button and a field. Okay, I copy paste. Add a withdraw button and a field. So everything going to be withdrawn now. Withdraw button. Withdraw field. Withdraw field. Withdraw field. Okay. So the size is going to be the same. 100 by 30, 120 by 30, but the location going to be different, right? The withdraw button is actually over here. So the x coordinate is still 10, but the y coordinate is changed. So it's a 10 plus 30 plus 10. So the y coordinate is like this, right? So it's 50. Does it make sense? Please actually let me know if you have any question. Okay. And so that's for the button. The withdrawal field, it's over here. So that's the coordinate. So the y coordinate is the same, right? So the y coordinate is the same, but the x coordinate, oh, yeah, y coordinate is the same as the button, withdraw button, but the x coordinate is the same as it's 120 x coordinate. Y coordinate is 50. Okay. So let's. Okay. So x coordinate is 150. So now x coordinate is. Oh, sorry. This is wrong. So this x coordinate is the same. Y coordinate is 50. Y coordinate is 50. And the x coordinate is the same as deposit. That should be field. Easy to make a mistake. That's field. That's field. Any problem? I just want to make sure it's all right. But if it, right?
No, looks good to me.
Okay. So yeah, 3 buttons relate to the actual operation. 3 field related operation. Okay. Now let's just add the next one. Last one. Last 2. That's a balance. Okay. So that's okay. It's a balance button. Balance button. And add a balance button. Balance field. Balance field. And the size of the button and the size of the field are the same. The balance, the location, x coordinate is still the same. The y coordinate, it's a 10, 30, 10, 50, plus 30, 80, plus 10, 90. Okay. So that can be 90. I put the 90 here. Also, this is going to be 90. Also 90, but x coordinate is the same as. So all the actual field has the same x coordinate. All the button has the same x coordinate. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Huh. Okay. Now, the next one I should do is I should actually set up the text. The balance field I should actually assign a text value. Okay. So I should set a text, okay, for the balance field, which is, I don't know, whatever the initial balance is. So balance field should get the I'm gonna call the method called set text. Okay. Which you're gonna actually call my account dot get. Okay. Now, here's the thing. For balance field, which is a J field, J text field. So the J text field has a method called a set text. Now, when I set text, I need to put the text over here, which is a string type. It's a string type, okay? So in that case, my account get balance, it's actually a double, right? The balance is a money amount. It's a double. So, but I need to display as a string. So in that case, you can convert the double into a string. That's one way. Now, another way, a quicker way is I just do the concatenate, okay? So I put the string, which is it's a kind of empty string, nothing in there, but it's a string. And then plus is double. So if I have a string and I have a double, then this is gonna actually concatenate, convert the double into the string and concatenate with the empty string. So then this whole thing gonna be a string, okay? Does that make sense? Or I can just put it here. I'm gonna say, okay, my balance, okay, my balance string. I put a string, which is a string type. And I'm gonna equals, okay, so my account balance. So this is called actually conversion, you know, basically conversion. So in here, I'm gonna put the my balance string, okay, because I put the string at the end, so that means it is a balance, but it's actually it is not a number; it's a string, okay. Now don't forget the last one. So you always gonna put this one here: set default close operation. The default operation, and so then it's exit on close, which is actually a variable defined in the iframe. And also, I'm gonna actually set to visible. Set this bank account GUI visible. SIVISIBLE, and make sure it's true. Because if you don't add this set visible, then when you execute it, you never see this. Okay. Okay, so now I'm done. Not done yet, but I just completely added all these components in there. Okay, so let's save it, and let's yeah, let's just add an account main. Okay, let's try to run it to see what happens. I'm gonna actually make a bank account. I'm gonna call this, but it's a bank account GUI now. Okay, so I'm gonna say my account GUI, the new bank account GUI, and I call the constructor bank account GUI. So the constructor gonna actually, yeah, I have two initial value and the owner. Okay, now I change the owner to, let's say Brady. My initial account is this. Okay, let's compile it. I got an error. Bank account GUI. Let's see what's the first error for error. Cannot find a symbol. That's always the. Oh, I see what's the problem here. I haven't saved I haven't saved this file yet. So I need to save this. So that's the bank account GUI. So I'm gonna save the file as bank account GUI dot Java. Okay. All file. Okay, so let's do this. Huh. It's okay. It's okay. Huh. Looks like it's doing something, but I don't know why. The last one is always over there.
Mine is doing the same thing too.
You have the same problem, right?
Yeah, and my window is too small.
Okay.
It's only goes to the bottom of the withdraw button and field.
Yeah, you can enlarge it to see what happens. But that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know why this like this. Okay. Because I think the location is correct, right? When we calculate the other location, let's see. 100. Let's see. Let me change this to 220. See what happens. I don't understand why this is the case. I did that one. I did the other one. Looks like it's all correct. Huh. It's still in the same. Where is this text field? Okay, let me actually put the, let's say put 10 and I put the 190. Let's say, yeah, 150. See what happens. I don't know why, it's always showing up here. This is interesting.
Professor, when you resize your window, does the field move? Because mine does.
Okay.
It's always centered in the middle of the window.
Okay.
Vertically centered.
Where should I center the window?
No, I mean in the application, the balance field, the text is centered in the middle of the window. I think it takes up the entire window somehow.
Okay. So you say in the balance field, set. Can you type it over here? In the text field, can you type it?
I mean, if you run your program again,
Okay. Let me see. I run this. Okay. Yeah.
If you expand the window, the 0.0, it moves down. It looks like it's centered vertically. It looks like the entire window might be the text frame.
Oh, entire window is the text frame. Yeah. Why this is the case? The balance field, the size is 120 and 30. Yeah, that's the size of the balance field, right? The balance field set location. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. So it looks like this whole container is the text field, right? But why this is the case? Balance field withdraw. Let me see. If I put the put this withdraw again in this location to see what happens. Okay. That's interesting. So I put the withdraw field here. Okay.
So one other interesting thing that I've noticed, and maybe it's connected, maybe it's not, but when I created my new bank account GUI, I set the initial amount to $99.99,
Yeah.
which should show up, but it's still showing 0.0.
Okay.
So maybe we're not referring it to it properly somehow.
Yeah. I don't see the problem here. But let's see. Okay, let's forget about for now. Looks like if I create, okay, instead of like a balance field, if I create another one, I called just a display field. Okay. I call it display field. And then instead of balance field, change the name. Okay. Okay. Everything I changed to display field. It still got me something like this. This is actually interesting. Okay, let's forget about this for now. So let's continue with the job. But now let's see. If I want to, I think I did something in another account. It's working, but I don't know why it's working. So let's quit this one. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't know. Maybe I have something wrong. But let's actually go to the other account. Let's say I have okay. Let me okay. So here's the account I created for my assignment 4. In here, I created a okay. I created by bank account GUI. Let me actually open this one. Okay, so I think I did the similar thing. Account balance, add a balance or add a deposit, add a balance, and balance field. Yeah, it's the same address. But let's actually run this one. So let me actually go to that location. Okay. Yeah, this is what I have. That's correct. I don't know why the other one is not correct. Okay, I'm gonna actually post this on the Blackboard. So we have deposit. Supposedly we have deposit 3 actually buttons and 3 text field. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is, okay, I want to actually take some action because we just don't want to just add a button and then if we click it, nothing happens. I want to do is, if I want to actually type the numbers like 1000, when I click a deposit, you're gonna actually add a deposit, right? And I click a withdraw, like a $999. I click withdraw. Now I have balance just $1, right? Okay. So now, so in here, now how can I implement this? So what I do is I have to register for deposit button because it's a J button, right? Deposit button is a J button. Okay. I have to register the deposit button to an object called the deposit handler. Okay. I have to register. To comments here. I need to register deposit object, deposit button to a deposit handler. Now, what is deposit handler? Deposit handler is any actual object which implements the something called action listener. Okay, so here the deposit handler I created here is this. The deposit handler is a class called deposit button handler, and I create this object deposit handler, which is actually deposit button handler. And deposit button handler is also implemented in the same class as deposit in the GUI class. And this is actually, this class is called a private class deposit button handler. Now, deposit button handler is the class I create. But however, I have to actually, implement the action listener. What is an action listener? Action listener is an interface. Do you remember the interface? So in that case, in the Java library, they provide an interface class called action listener. the action listener has, it's just an interface, but there's only one method declared in action listener. This method is called action performed. Okay, so the method action performed is declared in action listener. Now, but it's an interface class, so I cannot implement action performed in action listener because it's an interface class. So however, when the deposit button handler, the class I create called the deposit button handler, implements the interface class action listener, then I have to actually implement the action listener. So it's actually the override method. Okay, so this method action performed will be triggered when because I register my deposit button to the deposit handler, which is basically a deposit button handler, which implements the action listener. So that means here I register myself the button, the deposit button to this deposit handler. And then, so when I click it, the deposit handler will be triggered. Okay, so this method class will be triggered, and this class will be triggered, and the action method, the action performed will be called. Okay, so action performed will be called when I click the button, deposit button. Why? Because deposit button registers itself to the deposit handler, which increment the method called action performed. Now, what's in the action performed? The action performed, they're going to perform a couple of things. When I click this deposit button, the action performed, the first thing the action performed is going to do is read the data in this text field. So you're going to read the amount from deposit field, okay, which is this one. Okay, so how can I read it? So what I do is I call the method called, get text. So deposit field dot get text. So this will get 1,000. When I actually put the 1,000, this will get 100, and this 1,000 is going to be assigned to the deposit amount. I put a string because when I get this $1,000, 1,000.00, it will actually get a string, not the double. But inside the string is a double. So that's why I need to actually convert the deposit string into double. So what I do is, okay, I declare a double, okay, deposit amount, and then I use the double, that's the wrap class of double, okay, and pass double. So from here. Now this is actually the function call. It's called using the wrap class double dot pass double. So that means it's a string, but inside the string is a double value. So when I pass double, call pass double, it's gonna pull this value double 1,000.00 out. Okay, and then this will be the double. But this is actually the wrap class. It's a double. It's a wrap class. It's an object, but the value is 1,000.00. So then I assign this 1,000.00 to a deposit amount. Okay. So then once I got deposit amount, that's very simple, right? So I have account here, my account, which is defined over here at the very top. Okay. So here's my account. So then all I do is I call my account dot deposit, and I deposit this amount. So now my account, the deposit of my account has been changed. I added a deposit amount. And then I need to, display the new balance. once I actually call the depositor, then I display the new balance. So to display new balance, I just call my account dot get balance, right? Again, my account dot get balance only get double. So, but display set text requires the parameter string. So that's why I need to do the concatenate again. Put a string, I concatenate with the double. So double going to convert to a string and concatenate with the string so I can display that field. Okay. So that's the action performed implementation for the deposit button handler. So deposit button handler going to actually will be triggered when I click the deposit button. Okay. Now, why I put the deposit, I register my deposit field. So this add action listener is actually a method in the J button. So this is okay. So add action listener, and then I add the object which contains the implementation of action performed. Okay. Action performed. So this is going to do the job, do the trick. And then I also add an action listener to the deposit field. Okay. And then with the same deposit handler. Okay. It's the same handler. Why? You know, sometimes when people actually type the number, they can click the button, or sometimes people just type the number, they just hit the enter, right? So in that case, when you actually in the text field, when you type the word and hit the enter, this is gonna trigger the event, and eventually gonna trigger the deposit handler. So the action listener for the button and the action listener for the text field is different. The action listener for the button is when the button is clicked, it will trigger the event. But when for deposit field, like a text field, the handler going to be triggered when I hit the button, hit the enter. Okay. So let's say, let's deposit the number again. Okay, let's see. I type 4,000.00. Now in this case, I don't click the deposit. I just hit the enter. Okay. So now the new balance is 4,001. And you can withdraw the money again. Withdraw 1,000. Hit the enter. Oh, it doesn't work. The withdraw, if I hit the enter, it doesn't work. You know why? Why it did not react? Because I did not actually register the withdraw field, right? I have to register withdraw field. And then for the withdraw, I'm going to implement a withdraw handler. Okay, the withdraw handler is defined here. So the withdraw handler basically also going to read amount from the withdraw field. Okay, read amount from withdraw field, and convert withdraw the string to, a number, and then I call my my account dot withdraw. And then once I actually call the withdraw, then I'm gonna, set the text with the new balance. So this is gonna be okay. Now let's see. Let's see. I click it. Okay, so 1,000. Okay. Now the withdrawal should actually also work 500.00. Yes, working. Okay. So when I can either hit the, I can either click the button or hit the enter. Either way gonna work. Okay. So I withdraw another $100. Hit the enter. It's 400. Okay. So I'm going to actually post this on the Blackboard. So what I do is, here's the code. So what I do is, I'm going to post a part of this bank account GUI code. So I hope that you can finish the remaining part. Okay. So do you have any questions on this?
How should we handle? My window is still quite broken.
Okay, I don't know why this is the case. Let me actually, I can post my code on the Blackboard, so you can download my code. Okay, don't actually stick with that one. But sometimes it's really tricky. Maybe there's something wrong with the code, but when I check it, I couldn't find it. That's interesting. But this code is actually working. I'm gonna post it on the Blackboard, so you can download and play with it. Don't spend too much time on the other one. I don't know why. This is weird. It's just to actually create like the whole container becomes the text field. This is really weird. I don't know what's going on here, but so this is the bank account GUI code. I think what I'm gonna do is, you can actually do your part and submit into the assignment 4, and then that's the last assignment for this class. And then the final exam, I'm going to post another a project. It's called a calculator. I'm going to post the working code, and I want you to add a couple of more buttons, the keypad, so you can actually update, modify the calculator to perform more jobs. Okay. So I think that's pretty much all I have. If you read the Xi books, the Xi books, chapter 15, it's a little bit, they organized slightly differently. So I want you to actually read that from their perspective. But here, I think the best way to learn this is, you have to actually learn this through an example. It's probably easier to learn through the example. And I think a bank account is a very good example, because we already learned this using the text-based. But now we're going to add a GUI window, so I can just play the button to work on this bank account thing. Okay. Any questions?
So we don't have any more assigned Zybook work.
I don't think I'm gonna assign this, but I want you to focus on the bank account one, and also the calculate, which I'm gonna post on the Blackboard. The calculate is the final project. Okay, so we have no actual final exam, but the calculate is gonna be the final project. So I think this Friday there's no class, right?
Right, it's a wellness day.
It's a wellness day. So on a Monday, I can spend on a Monday just work on every problem you might have in your project or in your assignments. So maybe I can talk a little bit more about these GUI features, but it's impossible for us to actually cover all the features of the GUI. But all you need to know is, you need to actually look, you need to know how to look at the features, the methods provided by JFrame, provided by JButton, provided by text field, provided by JLabel, and provided by all these different components in Java GUI. And So you can take advantage of all these library methods. But I think the most likely you're going to use the J button and the J text field in both of our final projects, final assignment and a project. But so they provided more features than just these two. But these two are widely used feature we actually in Java GUI. So for most of the, unfortunately, we don't have time to cover the applet, because one of the good feature for Java is you can create a Java code and compile as applet, so you can upload it into the web page. So it will be even look nicer, so that you can actually load this. You can compile into the applet and load the applet on your website, and then you can actually perform all this GUI stuff on the web page. But so we don't have time to do this, but it's not really that difficult, but it's just actually the GUI applet. Okay. So any questions? So I'm going to post the working code on the Blackboard, but I'm going to erase some of the code so you can actually add it by your own. So then you submit for the assignment 4. So I'm going to add the deposit part, but for the withdrawal part, I'm not going to post it on the withdrawal part. So you need to add the handler, and also you need to register each of the component with the handler, and also you need to perform some kind of testing based on the instruction on the Blackboard. Okay, I think that's pretty much all for today. If you still have a question, I'm still available to answer your question.
I have no questions. Just thank you.